and welcome to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. Harlem Liberation School is a black nationalist, Pan-African community organization based in Harlem. We provide relevant and credible political education to help black people wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. To do this, we provide panel discussions, political commentary, mini documentaries, leadership tips, classes, and interviews with some of our most dedicated and effective leaders, activists, and intellectuals around the world. Peace and Black Power families, Brother Ajay Taimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach our people proudly to wake up, clean up, and stand up. The three-part call to action that Brother Malcolm gave us around 1962. We want to welcome everyone, whether you are watching this live or you'll watch the later recorded version. We don't particularly care. We just want to make sure that you get this life changing and life affirming information. That's all we care about. Whether you see it live or not is immaterial. We want to begin by thanking the Most High for life, for being able to operationalize the ideas in our heads. Some people can't do that. Grateful for that. We want to thank all of you who support this channel, support the people behind it, including my queen. We want to thank people for purchasing my new book through the fictional character I created called The Wise OG. And we want to really get started with a few quick announcements. You'll notice on the screen that I have 2 QR codes. We are in the midst of promoting this book, family, so please bear with us. We don't have a huge machine, a publicist, and all marketing and promotional agents. We must do that. So one of the QR codes to the left, if you scan it, you'll go right to the new YouTube channel, The Real Wise OG. It's all about teaching our brothers to be better, think better, do better, be responsible and disciplined, to handle their business, to stop all the talking and running of their mouth and get to work. The code on the right, if you scan it, will take you to that new book, The Wise OG Manhood Code. It is a 26 principles for our brothers to get us back on code, how we process, how we operate, how we carry ourselves as men, how we form our relationships, what we look for in our friendship circles, keeping toxic people out of them. A number of things, making sure we're useful to our households and to our communities. Not motivational fluff that you get from the Eurocentric side. We're talking about being better, not just for ourselves, but for our community. With that said, please, at any time during the broadcast, feel free to scan them, and we appreciate your support. We'll say that in advance. Now, we know what we do, family. The last Tuesday of every month, we are really blessed to have really an upstanding brother Heru Ofori-Atta, who wears a number of hats. Very brilliant brother, and he wears a number of hats. And it just so happens that everything he does points back to the community, which is really a beautiful thing. So not only does he deal with health and those related things, he also deals with investing in things of that nature, which I'm sure he could tell you more about. And you should definitely try to follow the brother. If you see that he's on a particular program, check it out. Learn about how to get your money right. Learn about how to get your mind right and your body right. That's a beautiful connection. With that said, I'm going to bring our brother Heru in. Oh, hold on a minute now. Let's get this right. Brother Heru, how you doing, man?
I'm on top of the world. How are you?
Excellent, brother. I am blessed, man, to be here. Thanks again, brother, for another episode of what I believe is a very important series we got going here, getting our health right. And as you know, we're talking about prostate. And this is going to sound very elementary, but believe it or not, some people don't know. Some people think women have a prostate too. So I just want to make sure. Could you tell people before we get too deep to anything? Oh, first of all, brother, how was your trip abroad, man? And how did that go?
Yeah, so, well, I just actually got back from New York City. I was in New York. I was in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
This weekend. Just recreationally, I went to a couple concerts and some creative arts type vibes. Because one of the things is that I'm an artist as well, but I actually came to observe two big sisters who are serious stalwarts when it comes to reggae music. That was Rima and Kenya Eugene. So I just came to have a good time in New York City, man, and then went to a poetry night with brother. You probably know him. His name is Ras Osajifo. He had a feature poetry set on the following day, which was Sunday, and it was attended by some very good people in Brooklyn. And so it was nice to be in that energy, man. You know, New York has this energy when it comes to the arts, man, that is kind of unrivaled worldwide, right? So it's always nice to be in that type of kinetic environment. So that was New York this weekend, but about 3 weeks ago, I was in London, and I gave a lecture in London on reversing high blood pressure, uh, cancer, autoimmune illnesses, diabetes, and it was incredible. The London audience was beautiful. It was standing room only. It was a lot of people there who had illnesses and got a new understanding of reducing and reversing the illnesses that they have. And so it was quite successful, and I'll be back in September. Your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
I forgot that you
Yeah.
told me before you did poetry.
Yeah, I was a professional poet for a decade,
Wow.
and that's all I did from about 2001 to 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hot, man. My brother, yeah, man. That's what's up. I do spoken word. I've been
Okay.
out of it for a minute, but I still have a few bars, and I was an old Harlem hip hop MC as a young brother. So I have a few little bars I bring out occasionally. But let's get back. I'm glad you had a good trip and a productive trip. Uh those watching, we are talking tonight about something that's really devastating black men. For sure. I've been hearing this thing since I was a young brother. And we're talking now about, I'm going to say, just prostate issues, whether that's enlarged prostate or prostate cancer. And Brother Heru is going to help us have an understanding of what that's about, what causes it, and maybe some things we can do to address it. So, Brother Heru, could you just start us with the basics? What is the prostate? What does it do?
The prostate is a gland, and essentially it's a gland that, call it a cannon. It basically helps expel sperm and semen during ejaculation. That's one of the main functions. It also helps in the production of seminal fluid and what have you. But um, prostate issues is it's a pandemic. I would say a lot of brothers are contacting me over the years over prostate issues, man.
Mm.
And the prostate issues, of course, is the swelling of the prostate, which you just call prostatitis. And as I said in earlier shows, that the majority of diseases end with the word itis. Itis is Latin for inflammation, so it's just inflammation of the prostate. So once you understand that prostatitis exists and it's become quite common, you would ask then some follow-up questions: is what's causing the inflammation in the prostate? And so again, there are three causes of inflammation: injury, infection, and food. And so in what you would call industrial society, the main cause of inflammation is actually food. So then it would lead to another question. Well, what are the foods that's causing inflammation? The main foods that's causing inflammation is sugar, as we see what sugar does to the teeth, right? It basically decays the teeth, can cause you to have a hole burned into your teeth called cavities. So then you've got sugar in your bloodstream, sugar in your body, and it's causing inflammation throughout your body, chronic inflammation and selective inflammation in different organs. Well, with the prostate, and particularly when it comes to reproductive organs, there is also another thing that causes inflammation, a hormone that causes inflammation. Well, insulin causes inflammation, right? And insulin responds to blood sugar. So that's related to sugar. But there's something that's not related to sugar or insulin that causes inflammation, and that's estrogen.
Mm.
So a lot of the female reproductive issues are actually due to estrogen imbalances where women are estrogen dominant. They have too much estrogen in their blood, and it's causing fertility issues, it's causing inflammation issues in the reproductive organs that lead to things like PCOS, ovarian cysts, fibroids, endometriosis, um, heavy menstrual cramps, heavy bleeding. All of this can be attributed to estrogen dominance. So then the question becomes, well, where's this estrogen coming from, and why would that apply to men? Well, it's because men and women are eating the same foods. And you'll find people eating a lot of soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen, it's a plant estrogen, and it causes inflammation. So there's people who've been, told don't eat meat, eat vegan, vegetarian food, then they'll go to eating a lot of soy products. And then this ends up causing a lot of problems because a lot of the soy is GMO soy. And soy is a phytoestrogen, which increases the estrogen levels in your blood. So I have a lot of women coming to me with all of these gynecological issues, particularly like vegans and vegetarians. And then I ask them what's in their diet. And a lot of it is soy or soy-based products. That's soy milk, tofu, this like mock meat that vegans and vegetarians eat, this processed soy in some way or another, and they're increasing estrogen levels. Another two plant-based foods that are estrogenic, even more than soy, is flaxseed. So flaxseed is highly estrogenic. It's actually the most estrogenic plant. Second to that is soy, and then third is chickpeas. These three things that you'll find that if people eat a lot of the time, they will have some type of reproductive system inflammation, male and female. So when it happens to a man, usually you'll see the swelling of the prostate. And this is seen with a lot of men who are vegan and vegetarian. They will have swollen prostate. And what happens when you have a swollen prostate? Well, the prostate gland will grow, and it'll start blocking the vessels that carry urine. And so what happens now is that the urine is supposed to pass through, and it's getting blocked by the swollen prostate. So you'll see men having a lot of problems urinating. You might even be in pain because of the swelling. And, the urination is not like a really strong stream like when you were 18 years old. It's like a trickle. I mean, there's men who come to me who told me to take them 25. There was one brother who came to me, told me it took him 25 minutes just to urinate. Yeah, your mic is off. And I have many examples of this, and I can show you this on our website. And the highest level of prostate disturbance would be prostate cancer. And there's a lot of things that happen with these prostate cancer diagnoses. Let me just tell you what the numbers are. So a brother will go to the hospital for a checkup. You go to the hospital for checkup, and you take what is known as a PSA test, which is prostate specific antigen test. And if your number is above 4, they will tell you that you're at risk for cancer, particularly if you're a Black man over 40. The next thing your doctors will do is they will tell you to go get a biopsy. There's a problem with that, but I'll get into that. So that's one scenario, your PSA number is over 4. Another scenario is your PSA number was 1. And then a year later, it's 2. And then a year later, it's 2.5. They'll say that rise in the prostate numbers is showing that you could be at risk for cancer, even though it's below 4. Just the numbers are rising, like 1 point every year. Even though it's below 4, that rise will concern a medically trained doctor. So what do? Go get a biopsy. What does a biopsy do? The biopsy takes a piece of your prostate and puts it under a microscope. It's a surgical procedure to take a piece of your prostate under a surgical microscope, and then they look under the microscope to see if there's any cancer cells, and they can determine whether you have cancer or not, right? There's a few problems with that. And the problem with that is that, and I'll tell you how it goes, and this is how the conversation goes. For any men listening, any men who've ever had prostate cancer or anything, this is how it goes. You go, your score is 5, let's say, PSA. Your doctor then tells you, hey, we need to see if you have cancer, so we need to do a biopsy. Well, guess how they do the biopsy? They go through.
They don't want to know.
Well,
Ooh.
They go through your rectum.
Oh.
Okay. This is a conversation that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people,
Wow.
So they go through your rectum. The problem with that is they're going through the rectum. The rectum is where the waste of the human body passes through. So there's a chance for infection because you're going through the rectum. And guess what happens remember what I told you about inflammation? 3 causes of inflammation: injury, infection, food. Well, guess what happens when you do a biopsy? The moment that you do surgery in that area, that's an injury for the body. The body sees surgery as an injury because you're actually disturbing that place of the body. So that's injury. Number 2, there's a high chance for infection because you're going through the rectum. So now you've got 2 of the 3 factors that cause inflammation. Well, guess what raises PSA scores? Inflammation. So if you get inflammation of your prostate, your PSA score will go higher. It necessarily does not have to be cancer, but it can raise your PSA score. So this is what happens, and this is the story. And a lot of men who's going to hear this, possibly we can actually save you a lot of trouble. So what happens is they don't know whether you have cancer, because you can have a high PSA score and not have cancer. But they will tell you, we need to do a biopsy. I recommend you actually you can get a scan, an MRI, or even a PET scan to see if there's cancer. That way you don't disturb the body. Because there's a lot of literature showing that biopsies actually can cause spread of cancer. And there's a thing called inflammatory oncotaxis. So inflammatory oncotaxis is the concept that they've been able to see that wherever inflammation appears in the body, that's where cancer loves to grow. Even to the point where if you have cancer in your foot and you get an injury in your shoulder, they'll see the cancer move to the shoulder. It's called inflammatory oncotaxis. And a subset of inflammatory oncotaxis is called surgical oncotaxis. And I can share it right here. I'll share the screen, surgical oncotaxis, and you'll see many different studies. So let me just share the screen, because I like to give what you call receipts to everything that I'm talking about, right? So if you just go online, just put in surgical oncotaxis. Onco just meaning cancer, taxis meaning moving, right? So you see this right here? Regulating surgical oncotaxis to improve outcomes in cancer. Okay? Regulating, so this is what it says right here. Excessive surgical stress and post-operative complications cause a storm of perioperative cytokine release, which is shown to enhance tumor metastasis, which is spread in experimental models. We have named this phenomenon surgical oncotaxis. The mechanisms that underpin the process are thought to be excessive corticosteroid secretion, coagulopathy in the peripheral vasculature, immune suppression, excessive production of reactive oxygen species, right? Listen to what it says. Minimally invasive surgical techniques should be used, and post-operative complications should be avoided whenever possible to lessen the impact of surgical oncotaxis. So what they're saying here in this study is that if someone has cancer, if you can minimize the surgery, that would be good because of this phenomenon called surgical oncotaxis, which enhances metastasis. Okay,
And that's the spread of it, correct?
Yes,
The metastasis.
exactly. And it's all over here. You could just You could just look it up, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's another one. This is from the Journal of American Medical Association. Inflammatory oncotaxis. Activation and growth of these metastatic focuses may occur secondary to inflammation, after inflammation, basically saying, at sites distant from the primary tumor. The concept of inflammatory oncotaxis is presented as a mechanism of cancer cell attraction and facilitation of transcapillary migration into tissue spaces. Physicians should focus astutely on internal and external sites of inflammation as possible focuses of tumor recurrence in the follow-up of cancer patients. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying is that anytime you create inflammation, you're causing an opportunity for cancer to grow and spread. Okay? So therefore, a biopsy should actually be a last resort because of surgical oncotaxis. Okay? Now, this isn't Heru saying it. I just showed you 2 studies. Now, so what happens is, and I have many stories on my website and the testimonials, and anyone can play, and I'll share some of them with you all. What will happen is this. A brother goes and gets a test and his PSA is 5. Okay? They say, hey, it's above 4. Your risk for cancer, we need to do a biopsy. We don't do the biopsy, we don't know if it's cancer, we need to start treating it. We may have to do surgery to cut out your whole prostate. Well, here's the problem. So the way they deal with cancer generally, there's 3 main, what you call standards of care. Well, you can add a 4th or 5th one with prostate cancer, but usually it'll be surgery, chemo, or radiation, or all 3. Surgery usually is first. So the whole thing is, let's take out your prostate so it doesn't spread to other parts of your body. But they don't tell you that when they take out your prostate, you got to wear diapers for the rest of your life because you can't control
the rest of your life.
Yeah, you got to wear diapers.
Yes.
They don't tell you that, and you won't be able to get an erection.
Oh.
Okay.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah, your prostate's gone.
Yeah.
They don't tell you all this. But listen, this is where it goes. You tell them, hey, okay, I'll go ahead and do this biopsy. They do the biopsy. And let's say the biopsy comes back positive for cancer, right? Guess what they'll do? They'll say, hey, okay, let's just see where you are in terms of PSA to see how bad it is now. So you did a PSA, let's just say, in January. You did a biopsy at the end of January. In February, they have you do another PSA. And guess what happens in February after the biopsy? Your PSA number has gone up dramatically. So now you think the cancer is getting worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, your PSA went up because you just had surgery in the area and it hasn't healed. And it may be even infected because you went through the rectum. So now your PSA that you were told in January is 5 is now 10. And you're scared, and your wife is scared, your children are scared, your family's scared that your cancer is spreading. But it's actually not spreading. Is that you got inflammation in the area that hasn't healed because you just had surgery. And they don't tell you this. So guess what happens? Men get rushed.
Another surgery?
Surgery, chemo, radiation, you get signed up for all of that. You see? And then you lose your prostate. And you're done. Because once the prostate's gone, they can't bring it back. So this is what's happening. Okay? This is what's happening, and is happening over and over and over again. And it's just like they know that surgery is going to cause an increased PSA because it's going to cause inflammation. Surgical oncotaxis. They know it's going to cause inflammation in the area. So they really shouldn't have you do a PSA a week or 2 after the biopsy because your PSA number is going to go up. It's been disturbed. The area has been disturbed. So this is a way that they get you to get scared and then you just listen to whatever they say, and your life is in their hands. And then they take out your prostate, and you're done. This happens to women, like black women go to the hospital, smallest thing, hysterectomy. Let's take out your womb. They don't look at your estrogen levels. They don't look at what's going on with your hormones. Just, hey, you got fibroids, let's take out your womb. Hey, you got endometriosis, let's take out your womb. Without checking your hormone levels. And I can speak about this intimately because this is what happened with family members.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're scared because you were told the biopsy said you had cancer. They gave you another PSA and your PSA has doubled. And you're like, oh my God, my cancer is spreading. I'm going to die. Your family is telling you, do whatever the doctors say, do whatever. And you get your prostate taken out. And you live the rest of your days with no erection, and you're going to have to wear diapers. Okay. So let's get into the cases that I have. We're going to go to my testimonials, but we have a recent.
Excellent.
We have a recent prostate cancer reversal just last week from a brother whose PSA number was as high as 46, and now it's 0.1, and actually under 0.1. It's non-detectable. We have several prostate cancer reversals on Herbal Results website. Let's share a few of them with you all. And it's up to you all to actually just click, press, and play and listen to the stories. Because, we have a limited time in the show. So and all of my testimonials are like an hour long, but they're long form. So are you able to see this, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you go to herbalresults.net, you go testimonials. When you click testimonials, the first one you'll see, stage 3 prostate cancer reversal with Crawford Peterson. He was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer. He had tumor covering 97% of his prostate. And he refused to do surgery, chemo, and radiation. And he did the Herbal Results Cancer Eradication Protocol. His PSA went from 150, that's almost 40 times the acceptable level of 4, to 0.1 in about 6 months with no evidence of tumor. He's cancer-free. He's alive and well. You just hit play.
All right.
And
greetings, all viewers.
he will tell his story.
We have a very...
That's Crawford Peterson. Everyone should take time and watch that. If you have any family member who's diagnosed with prostate cancer, just go to herbalresults.net. All he did was our protocol, which was taking the olive leaf extract, taking a couple other antiparasitics, taking our vitamin D3 plus K2 and our magnesium, and changing his diet to a ketogenic diet that was devoid of sugar, vegetable oils, and he stayed away from phytoestrogenic plants such as tofu, flaxseed, and chickpeas, right? Because that's going to swell the prostate. It actually helps make men impotent. This is actually the very first this is the very first cancer reversal we got at Herbal Results. This is in 2017. So you can click that. And this is Dr. Charles Harrigan. So what happened in his case is Dr. Charles Harrigan contacted me one day. This was in 2017. This is our very first cancer reversal. As you can see, January 20th, 2017 there, right? And I could even just make it a little bit bigger. You'll be able to see it. January 26th, 2017. So what happened in this case was I was in the Virgin Islands making the olive leaf extract, and I got a phone call. And the guy said, my name is Charles Harrigan. Are you the guy who makes the olive leaf extract? And I said, yes. And he said, I'd like to thank you for saving my life. And I said, what happened? He said, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Nothing was working. I was in bed, bedridden, and I was urinating blood. And I was in pain all the time. And someone told me about your product. You see he's holding in his hand the olive leaf extract there? Mm-hmm. He said, I took your product, and within 2 weeks, all my symptoms went away. And then within a few months, I was diagnosed cancer-free. I want to thank you for saving my life, and I want to tell you anything you need from me, please let me know. And I said, yes, I do need one thing from you. I need a video testimonial of you telling your story. And that day we met at the beach. I mean, not at the beach. We met by the mountain in a place called Bordeaux, in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. And this is the recording of him telling his story. Okay. It took a few months to reverse his cancer. And this is prostate cancer. Okay. And so when we go to other testimonials, we have, see all these different testimonies of different cancers in different parts of the body. So you'll see this guy here had esophageal cancer, Zach Richardson. He was given 90 days to live. He's alive and well, cancer free. This is endometrial uterine cancer with this sister here. She's now a mayor in Oklahoma somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah. Velma Samuel, breast cancer in the Virgin Islands. She's the second cancer reversal we got. And then it just goes on and on. Breast cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer again. This brother, prostate cancer success story as well, Kwajo Takumbo. This is a brother, his doctors were trying to force him to get a biopsy. He refused. Actually, he did get a biopsy. And this is the story where he tells where they had him do a PSA right after the biopsy. And that's when his numbers were increased and he was very dejected. And I was actually able to get him on the phone with Crawford Peterson. So they were able to talk. And he got more confidence to do the protocol, and now he's cancer free. Okay. He tells his story. This is Rodney Merriweather out of Atlanta. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer for 2 decades.
Wow.
Okay. 20 years living with prostate cancer. His PSA went from 27 to 0.5 in 2 months of doing the protocol. And he tells his story. Everyone should watch the stories because these people are holding no punches. They're telling you step by step what happened and how the doctors were mad at them for refusing to do, surgery, refusing to do chemo and all of that. And then when they come back after do the protocol and then the PSA is under 1 and they're cancer free, the doctors are shocked, right? And then this is an elder who contacted me sometime this year, Peter Williams, 81 years old. He did the protocol for 2 months, cancer free. Okay. And then we have, this is a brother, you see he had throat cancer. You see the tumor there? He's cancer free now. Okay. There's a brother out of Chicago. But we have a new one of a brother named Ron Noel, who I've been working with for about a year. And his PSA went from 46 to 0.1, and he just let me know he's cancer free just a few weeks ago. So I'll be recording his testimonial in a few days. But we get a lot of prostate cancer customers and clients, and we put them on the protocol, man. And it's like, based on the math, most of the people that you've seen there, the prostate cancer was reversed for under $300.
Wow.
That's
amazing. That's amazing, bro.
Right. And so let me just go over just the products that people use are these products here, just so people would know what to get. And then you just follow the instructions. You can get the book that breaks down everything about cancer, which is our book here. This is the book that I wrote a year or 2 ago. It's called The Successful Eradication of Cancer Using Intracellular Parasite Theory. It's a digital download book. It has active links in it for all the scientific evidence. So I have the first chapter, hundreds of scientific studies. And then the second chapter is testimonials from all over the world, video testimonials. You click the link and you hear people telling their stories. And then the third chapter is the protocol. Okay, step-by-step protocol. And so usually we use for cancer is the maximum strength olive leaf extract, even though we have had people who've had reversals just using the super strength, like Tabia Yatunde with the uterine endometrial cancer. She just used the super strength, but we advise people to use the strongest one. We have this product called Starve Cancer and Parasites. I created this some months ago because it stops the glutamine pathway. So cancer feeds off of 2 things mainly, which is sugar, glucose and glutamine, mainly glucose. But I saw that in some people's cases, you need to attack the glutamine pathway. So I created this product specifically for the glutamine pathway, which is a combination of curcumin, piperine, berberine, and green tea extract. They stop parasites and cancer from uptaking glutamine. Okay, and then I created these products for the immune system, which is our high dose vegan vitamin D3 plus K2. I think it's probably the strongest vitamin D3 in the market. You take this for 30 days, a full drop for 30 days, your vitamin D score will be raised by 100 points. How do I know that? Because I use myself as a guinea pig. All my products I take first before I sell them. And then I actually do the measurements. So I go into a lab before I take my products, take it for a month, and I'll go into a lab again. And it is confirmed that after 30 days of taking one dropper of this product here, vitamin D3, my vitamin D score was raised by 100 points. Okay. And then the complementary product with vegan vitamin D3 plus K2 is magnesium, zinc, and selenium. So if you're going to take high dose vitamin D3, you need to take magnesium along with it. They go together. Okay? So these are the main products people took. And then some people will go ahead and they'll take the moringa lantro as well, which is moringa and cilantro. It'll do heavy metal detox and also give the body much needed nutrients. Then we also have the broad spectrum CBD oil, which is also anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and anti-pain. So sometimes you have people who are in pain, who have cancer, and so this product helps them to alleviate their pain without having to use opiates. This is chasteberry for women. This is what balances the estrogen dominance by creating progesterone in the body, natural progesterone in the body. So women who have, endometriosis, PCOS, ovarian cysts, menopause, perimenopause, premenopause, all of that is a hormone imbalance, and this helps to balance the hormones. And also women who have fertility issues can't get pregnant. This helps as well. Then we have the
Brother Heru,
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you something? You said something I don't want people to miss. You talked about soy and chickpeas. Now I know coming up, especially in undergrad, soy was a big deal in like the 80s, and we was like drinking soy milk, and we was getting our falafels and tahini and getting our chickpeas all. And now we're learning that those two products may be things we need to avoid or closely monitor. Could you tell us about the soy and the chickpeas one more time? Just the things that may be, cautionary.
Okay. This is what you need to do is you need to look at what's known as a phytoestrogen plant list. So what that means is these are plant-based estrogens. When you eat these plants, your estrogen levels are going to increase. When your estrogen levels increase in men and women, what happens to men when you have food with too much estrogen, you will get swelling of the prostate, which causes men to have problems urinating, also causes erectile dysfunction because you're getting estrogen in your body, not testosterone. It also causes men to grow breasts because you're getting more estrogen in the body. So you'll see a lot of brothers who are vegan, vegetarian, whatever, and they will still have some weight on them, and you'll see them have breasts. What's happening is they're getting too much estrogen in their body. For women, the estrogen is inflammatory. And women know that or a man should know that if you've ever lived with a woman or dated a woman or married to a woman who's been on birth control pills. Birth control pills are estrogen pills. They cause infertility. They're birth control pills. So the more estrogen you have, and I'll never forget this. I remember when I was in college, my college girlfriend was really skinny. And when we started dating, she got on a birth control pill. Within 2 months, she got very voluptuous, man. And it was the birth control pills. The estrogen added water weight and inflammation to her body, and she had bigger breasts, bigger hips, everything. She put on weight. Estrogen is an inflammatory hormone. So too much estrogen causes these gynecological issues. And if you're eating, a lot of people think they're healthy because they're vegan and vegetarian. A lot of people who come to me with problems are vegans and vegetarians. They didn't understand how they got these problems, and I have to explain to them, you're eating too much plant-based estrogen. This is very important for women because it leads to hysterectomies. Okay, it's completely unnecessary because what they failed to do is they failed to check your blood hormone levels. They just, you black woman, you go in for a toothache and they're gonna recommend a hysterectomy to you.
Right.
We know what that's about. That's population
Yeah.
control. So here's what I'm gonna show you all. I'm gonna show you all the phytoestrogen food chart. Right here. Phytoestrogen food chart. Let me rewind. Let me reverse that. Get out of here. View file. Here we go. Do you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look at flaxseed. Phytoestrogen content. Do you see that? This is per 100 grams. 379,380. Soybeans, 103,000. So look at flaxseed is 3 times more phytoestrogenic than soybeans. Then you have soy nuts, and then you have tofu. So you see that flaxseed is much worse. It's almost 10 times worse, more than 10 times worse than flaxseed. So flaxseed is actually the number one problem. Soybeans is number 2. Tofu, which is made by soybeans, is number 3. And then you'll see miso, tempeh. That's just a form of soy. And you will start seeing hummus. Well, hummus, and another chart will show you, it'll put chickpeas there as well. But hummus is made out of chickpeas. So whenever people tell me that they have these problems, all of this is soy, by the way. Soy nuts, tofu, tempeh, miso, soy yogurt, all that's soy. So the very worst things that you could take is flaxseed and soy, and then third would be chickpeas, okay? And so a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people aren't told this. And so I let people, there's a brother actually in Brooklyn who came to me just a couple of days ago, and he was having urination issues, right? Like literally, it was hard for him to pee. It was like blocked. It was like just trickling out. He's like, oh man. So I told him, hey, you got to stay away from these foods. And you know what he told me? I said, you got to stay away from these 3 foods: soy, tofu, soy, flaxseed, and chickpeas. He said, I know you know what you're talking about. I was like, why you say that? He said, because the day and the day before that I had the urination issue, I ate a big plate of chickpeas. It's like, I remember that day and the day before, I ate a big plate of chickpeas, and thereafter I had urination problems for a few days. That's when he was like, wow. Because he came to me with the problem, and when I identified the chickpeas, he was like, oh, you must know what you're talking about, because I literally ate chickpeas that day and the day before. And I'm also talking from experience. So when I eat a lot of chickpeas, I notice that my urination is not as strong. When I eat soy, I know it affects me estrogen level wise. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a joke. Remember, I told you that I was a professional artist for 10 years. So I used to travel a lot, like internationally. I'm a young man and virile and strong and all of that. And so women come into your life and you're traveling, you're an artist, right? But the problem is that you don't know who these women are. You don't know who their boyfriends are. You don't know what type of problems you can get into stepping into another person's territory and dealing with the women of that territory, because you don't know their history, right? But you're a young man. You're in your 20s, early 30s. You're single. So you see a nice looking woman. What are you going to do, right? But you don't know she might have Pookie stalking her, right? You don't know what's going on, right? So do you know what I used to do before I would travel? I would eat tofu. You know what that would do to me? It would completely take my sex drive down to almost zero. Literally. Every time I ate soy and tofu, I had no interest in any sexual relationships at all. It completely negated my testosterone. And usually I'm a very testosterone rich person, man. You know what I mean? Like I can handle that type of activity for long amounts of time and really be in tune with it. But whenever I would eat tofu, I noticed that when I would drink soy milk and eat tofu, I literally could be around the most attractive women and have no interest. I saw it happen. And so it was a cheat code that I would do to protect myself from getting into trouble. So whenever I would travel, I would eat some tofu just so the lion could be tamed.
Okay.
So now imagine a man who's eating tofu every day and you're being asked to perform with your wife and it's causing erectile dysfunction. You don't even know it. I mean, I get story after story, men contacting me, telling me like, listen, I find my wife attractive, but I can't get it up. And a lot of times it's the high blood pressure pills. But if they don't have high blood pressure pills, I ask them if they're vegan and vegetarian. And if they say yes, I know exactly what the problem is. They're eating too much phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens causing swelling of the prostate, is depleting their testosterone to estrogen levels and creating increased estrogen levels, and is causing them to have libido issues. And this happens across the board, man. Like I see it all the time. And when they discontinue the phytoestrogens and they discontinue, high blood pressure medication, they're fine. They're able to perform fine. And on the flip side for women, it causes all of these irregularities in terms of female reproductive issues in the form of having to go see gynecologists for XYZ, right? I named all of them earlier. Now, the second source outside of the phytoestrogens in plants, phyto just means plant, is chicken. So industrial chicken, what a lot of people don't know is that, you know, that the chicken they sell is only female chickens, you know. They don't sell male chickens. They use the male chickens for breeding.
Mm-hmm.
Female chickens are what's sold in stores. What happens with the female chickens is that when they're born, they get injected heavy doses of estrogen. It causes them to grow fast. Remember, the industrial farming and industrial food supply is just about selling food to you by the pound. So they can have a 2-month-old chicken looking like a 2-year-old chicken. So in a few months, they can slaughter it and sell it instead of having to wait years. So what happens when you're eating this industrial chicken? You're taking estrogen into your body. So now these women are taking all this extra estrogen into their body. That's why you start seeing a lot of young girls develop early. They start developing.
Farrakhan used to talk about that in the 80s all the time.
They start developing very early because this food, this chicken that they're eating is injected with estrogen. And so that's another source for women having these gynecological issues. And so when men have prostate issues, I tell them, if you're going to eat chicken, it needs to be free range, organic chicken. It cannot be the regular chicken that people eat. That is the farm raised chicken that they're injecting with all of these chemicals, particularly estrogen. So what's very important is you have to have a dietary approach. If you have prostate issues, you have to have a dietary approach. You also have to have an immune system approach, which is the vitamin D3 plus K2 and the magnesium. And then you have to have an anti-parasitic and anti-inflammatory approach. And that's the olive leaf extract. That can be black seed oil, turmeric, Artemisia nua. If you want to take off-label anti-parasitics, that would be ivermectin, fenbendazole, mebendazole, all of that. So this is what we do at Herbal Results. And the results speak for themselves. We get reversals. I mean, we get prostate cancer reversals quite regularly. Quite regularly, we get prostate cancer reversals. That's probably one of the main reversals that we get is prostate cancer reversals. So, hopefully if someone's listening, you have a family member who has prostate cancer, or any type of cancer, but we're talking about prostate today. The first step is just go to herbalresults.net, go to testimonials, press play on the videos and sit down and watch the videos. They're very informative. These are all people who are scared and told that their cancer is going to spread. And if you don't do this and don't do that, and they went ahead and did the Herbal Results protocol and now they're cancer free. And it's important for you to look at different modalities to solve your problem without taking out your prostate, without having to go through chemo, without having to go through radiation, without having to go through hormone therapy. And the hormone therapy is basically they make you into a woman. That's what basically what they do is that they cut off your testosterone, because in their mind testosterone causes, will fuel prostate cancer. When a lot of times it's estrogen that's doing it. So this is the problem. This is a huge problem. So I just want brothers to know that the moment that they tell you need to do a biopsy is the moment you need to start the herbal results protocol. And if you want, you can get a PET scan or an MRI without having to do a biopsy, just to find out if it's cancerous. Yeah, you did an MRI or a PET scan instead of doing something invasive, which is going to cause surgical oncotaxis. So hopefully I answered all the questions, man.
You answered all the questions. You answered them all, brother, for sure. Wow. Now you talked about the brothers that have problems urinating. What about the brothers that's getting up early, want to go, and they urinate a lot throughout the day? Is that a bad thing, or?
Yeah, that's a bad thing too. There's two causes of that. That prostate inflammation can cause that, and also high blood sugar can cause that. And all this is metabolic issues. It's coming from food, and so we easily reverse diabetes. That's not a problem. That's just changing your diet and stepping up your immune system and taking things like olive leaf extract to make you more insulin sensitive, and then the urination stops. I mean, I know there was a brother who was telling me he had to get up 8 times per night to pee. Guess what I told him to do to solve the problem? I told him to take a teaspoon of baking soda and put it in a half a cup of water and drink it. Guess what happened? The urination stopped. He was able to sleep the whole night, the first time in 5 years. Why? Because his prostate area was inflamed. And what baking soda does is that it reverses inflammation very quickly, and it's very cheap. Right? You can get it from the store. It just gets baking soda, and it alkalinizes your body, your extracellular fluid, and it caused him to be able to sleep the whole night without urinating. It's a $2 solution.
For sure. Wow. Okay. So I guess anybody that's watching this live or the recorded version that's a brother and he's having problems with the prostate or has been told he has problems, he definitely should go to I'm going to put the ticker back up. It's been going all night. The ticker, Brother Heru's website is herbalresults.net. He has a plethora of products. He has book to read. That's a good place to start. Do you have on there also, a way to contact you as well, right?
Yeah. Just go to the contact page and just email us. That's all.
So I would suggest that's a good place to start, family. The brother knows his stuff and he has people to back it up. He's not just talking. All right. So go there. That's a good place to start. And if he
not only do we have the people to back it up, we have the people who've gotten cancer reversals who are willing to talk to you if you want to talk to them. Like all the people there on my website, one of the agreements is that if someone wants to talk to them to get more information, I make it available. Like no one else will do that. No one else does that. None of your doctors are giving you references to people they healed that you can talk to like references. I believe because what we're doing is so revolutionary, I want to make it completely transparent so that people can know that, like, number one, these people are here. They're real people. They have Facebook pages. You can contact them. And if you ask me, like, you want to talk to Crawford Peterson with the stage 3, I can give you Crawford's number and you can speak to him. And he'll walk you through everything he did. If the video is not enough, usually the video is enough, but sometimes, you get people who are very skeptical. So I just, I made it available so that we're all like a healing community together.
That is hot, brother Heru. We'll get ready, man. You answered all the questions I had. Are there any last things you want to say, something that maybe you didn't get a chance to say that you feel is important to say on this issue or anything else? Any upcoming events, any appearances, anything?
No, people just really, the best thing you can do, Because what happens is that I deal with people every day. I got people emailing me, calling me all day, every day. Most of your questions are answered on the website. So what I don't want you to do, this is what I don't want people to do. I don't want you to see this interview and then you go straight to the contact page and then you tell me all your problems and ask me
Right.
all your questions when 99.9% of your questions are answered through, like, they'll say, oh, the olive leaf extract, how often do I take it? Well, the instructions are on the bottle. The instructions are on the website. I have a whole tab that says instructions for all the products, right? They'll ask, what's the cancer protocol and this and that. It's in the book. I made it so you don't even have to really contact me. The video testimonials answer everything because there are people who are in your same condition from stage 1 to stage 4. We have people on our website who are cancer free now who were given 90 days to live. Literally, right? It don't get no more serious than that when they say you got 3 months to live, stage 4. And we have reversals and they're telling their stories. And so all I can say to people is, I need you all to do a little due diligence and invest some time in your own, like, healing. The problem is when it comes to healing is that there's a situation created where we think that people are going to be your savior, or you think that this person is going to, like, magically solve your problems, or you don't have to put any effort into solving your problems, because we've really been taught to kind of like third party our solutions, right? Whenever you have a problem, you just farm it out to somebody, right? But no, you should take an active investment and approach to your own health. I always say your health should never be a spectator sport. The other side too is I don't really charge, and I'm going to start charging actually. Up until now, I haven't charged for consultations. But I see that I do have to start charging because people are contacting me for the smallest things. Like, literally, I had someone contact me like several times in one day because she stumped her toe while she was running. Right? So I'm getting called for like these small things all the way up to stage 4 cancer. But when it comes to high blood pressure, diabetes, autoimmune, I have all of everything on our website that you would just have to just go to the website. I have the scientific studies on the website. I have the instructions on the website. I have the protocol in the book. I have the testimonials. I need people to just do a little due diligence for yourself before you send me an email. Like, don't send me an email. For instance, I have people sending me email. Hey, Heru, I saw you on the Harlem Liberation School site. How much is the olive leaf extract?
Right.
So you went to my contact page to reach me, but you didn't go to the shop page to find out how much was the olive leaf extract. So now you want me to take time out of my day or my assistants to answer that question when it's on the website.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
diligence, family. Have some initiative. Yeah.
Show some initiative in like solving your own problems. Don't look for me to be your savior. I don't want to be your leader. I don't want to be your guru. I don't want to be your, I don't need that in my life. Some people need that to make them, feel important. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be your leader because I see how we treat our leaders. So I don't want to be that. I just want to I just want to point you in a direction and let you, here's the information that you would need. Watch the testimonials first. And then if you have questions after that, go to the instructions page. If you have questions after that, then you can email me. But most everything is answered on the website.
Right. There it is, family. You got it. You got the website. That's the hub of the information. Do your due diligence. It's your health after all. And when you hit the brother up, it should be something substantial. I think that's one of the things he's saying. It should be substantial. All the stuff you can answer for yourself, and come to him when it's that substantial stuff, man. Definitely appreciate your wisdom on the subject, your knowledge, and the business, brother, the book. Very important. Appreciate you, man. And We'll see you next month, my brother. Until then, I see you. You're on what's my brother Anthony Muhammad?
Yes, Sankofa
Sankofa.
Revolutionary. Yeah, every Monday and Wednesday. Monday we do health results. Wednesday we do wealth results. I've been an investor for a long time. I was an early investor in Bitcoin when it was under $100, and I was an early investor in many different stocks. And so I just show how people they can build their wealth through investing.
Nice, nice. I might have to check you out on there, man. I'm trying to step up my financial literacy for sure.
No problem. Just tune in every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on usually for an hour to 3 hours, and we're chopping it up about investments. I'm giving people direction as to what they can invest in, showing people the numbers, what the numbers look like, and it's crazy. You know, if you'd invested like $200 a week 10 years ago in, you know, AMD or NVIDIA or, you know, Tesla or any of these like big companies, you'd be sitting on $1 million close to, like $200 a week. And I show people how it's done. I show people the math and everything. So, you know, I give people formulas. So yeah, tune in. You can tune in on Sankofa Revolutionary Radio. We're on Facebook. So you can go to my Facebook. It'll be on live. You can go to, we also partner with Know the Ledge Media, Know the Ledger with Red Pill. So we simulcast there. I simulcast on YouTube. Sometimes we have problems with YouTube because YouTube tries to hate, particularly on Mondays, the medical show. They try to restrict the account and all of that because they say, you know, they don't want people to get the information to heal themselves because they're just so funded by the pharmaceutical companies. And so sometimes they'll flag some of the things that we're talking about, and they'll call it medical misinformation when I'm showing people like the studies. I'm showing them like people who've healed themselves. And so, you know, YouTube is a precarious place to deliver health information that's going to save people's lives. But on Wednesdays, we typically don't have a problem because, you know, it's not health information. So I'll just tell people tune in, man. And I also have a website called HeruTrades.com where people subscribe to follow my trades that I make, because I do Forex trading, I do stock options, I do precious metal trading like gold, silver, things like that, and cryptocurrency. And so, you know, I'll make a post of a trade and all of my subscribers will get the message and then they can copy the trades and what have you. So that's HeruTrades.com. But, you know, for the health stuff, herbalresults.net, that's where it's at.
There it is, family. You heard it.
Yeah, and we'll probably try to line up a lecture, because I always do lectures in Brooklyn, sometimes in Queens, but I'll, you know, try to line one up in Harlem. We did one in Bronx a couple months ago, but I haven't been to Harlem to do a lecture in a while. So I'll let you know about that.
Yeah, man, we'll hook something up here. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, next time I'm slated to do Brooklyn, I'll give you a call and we can do something for the community, a free lecture in Harlem.
That's what's up. All right, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you and your work, man. You have a blessed evening, all right?
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, family. Peace and Black Power. See you next time.